In the heart of Girgaon, Mumbai, lies Khotachiwadi, founded over 2 centuries ago by Dadoba Vaman Khot. It began as a quiet settlement of the East Indian community, fisherfolk, farmers, and craftsmen, where narrow lanes wind between pastel facades and the air carries the quiet murmur of centuries. Here houses stand shoulder to shoulder, their timber balconies leaning out as if to greet one another. Long narrow plots stretch inward from the street, their raised plinths catching the afternoon sun, a place to sit, to talk, to belong.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm James Ferreira. I'm a designer who lives in Khotachiwadi. This is my ancestral home, which has been in my family for 220 years. So these houses were built when Bombay was still 7 islands. So the main road used to be the beach, and there used to be a coconut grove between the beach and the sea. And that was, then the British started to reclaim the lands in between the islands, and that's when we became not a sea-facing village. It was beautiful. Our roads used to be washed every day with water, and the gas lamps were there till about 1970, 73. So every evening the guy would come with the taper to light the lamps. We used to have these Chinese vendors walking through the lanes selling Chinese goods. We used to have nuns selling pindays. And it was a very beautiful village-like life. And then the city started to grow around us. And while the city grew, Khotachiwadi shrunk, and all the buildings on the periphery got destroyed, and it's only the core where the lanes were very narrow, which was saved. So what really has saved us is the narrow lanes, because to build more than a 6-story building, you need a 30-foot road. Community, we were about, out of 100%, we were 60% Christians, and but now that is shrunk. A lot of people have immigrated and gone to Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, all over the world. And there are more Khotachiwadi people internationally rather than in Khotachiwadi itself. At present, we are mostly people my age and older. It's a very old population, and there aren't very many youth left around. But when it used to be in its heyday, it was a beautiful village. There were 5 wells. There was the tradition of taking the bride to the well when they get married. So all those traditions were kept. Christmas, New Year's, they were all celebrated. Diwali was celebrated because there was a whole great Pathari Prabhu, a lot of Maharashtrians from the Pathari Prabhus, so they lived here. And then sadly, like the rest of Girgaon, people either immigrated out of India or they sold their little chawls all over the place and have gone and stayed in Guruvli, Khandivli and in the far suburbs.
So the chawls used to exist prior also, or there are?
The chawls were added on later when they broke down some of the bungalows and built the chawls, and the chawls were when the mill started.
Very narrow lanes. So there was a community gathering.
Yeah, because there was a clubhouse, there was a garden in front, then people's homes were open. So it was a very, very vibrant, we had the cross over there which was built when the plague happened and we were saved from the plague. So the cross is where we pray together, the clubhouse is where we entertain and when we meet each other, and people lived mostly in each other's houses.
And how did that get affected when these high-rises came into?
It's a mess.
Step inside and the air changes. The floorboards whisper beneath your feet. Staircases turn with the grace of a dancer, and patterned glass scatters sunlight into gentle patterns. For James Ferreira, this is more than a house. It is a keeper of memories, a witness to the changing face of the city.
Khotachiwadi. But what they don't realize is that a city needs these little watering holes. Like a jungle has a watering hole where the animals they go and eat and drink and do things. Animals, we are animals and we need the same sort of facilities which are not being made. Firstly, we need community centers. See, now if you look at the slum, I mean, you don't need to look at Khotachiwadi. Khotachiwadi was really regulated as a slum by the English. When the English came into Bombay, they decided that the Khotachiwadi and any unplanned village which did not go onto their grid of the city was categorized as a slum. But if you look even at the chawl, the way the chawl is built is it's a U-shaped building with a center courtyard, with a little temple and trees and everything. So there was always a breathing space available for children to play and for doing things like that. Today, what does a middle class child, where does a middle class child go to relax? We as the more affluent have got a lot of this at our disposal. But what do these people have? We have nothing. It is a full lopsided development which is only focusing on the top 10%, not even thinking of the rest of it. There were no cars at that time. In fact, my grandfather hated cars. We used to have a place for the horses and carriages, and then after that, my father and I didn't like cars. I think cars are a movable liability.
Yeah.
And really they are.
Yeah. So the community used to use the bicycles and
Bicycles, two-wheelers, public transport, and that is the way. A city is developed if there is enough of public transport rather than roads for the rich.
Yet change knocks loudly at these narrow doors. Concrete towers shadow the tiled roofs. Wood gives way to aluminium, lime to cement, and with each alteration, the language of this place grows quieter. To preserve Khotachiwadi is to preserve more than timber and tile. It is to protect a way of building that breathes with the wind, a way of living where walls hold stories and the street itself is home. In every balcony, every plinth, every quiet gap between walls, the past still breathes.